Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the Forgiven Gaming YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over the Abandoned Cave Dungeon and Boss Fight. This can be found right here on the map, just east of the Smoldering Wall bonfire in the Caelid area of the map. This is a really good cave early in the game, but you may have to grind a little bit. There are a couple items I would recommend that you have before you come here, the first of which is going to be the Golden Pickled Fowlfoot, which can be found right here on the map. And then due to the difficulty of the bosses, I actually recommend for myself at least, grabbing a couple Sacred Tears. These can be found at the Church of Pilgrimage, as well as the 4th Church of Marika, which are going to be located right here and here on the Weeping Peninsula. Another one can be found at the Church of Irith, just north of Stormvale Castle, which you do not actually have to go through Stormvale Castle. You can use this little route right here to go around, with only a couple wolves that you can just comfortably run past. And the last one of which is going to be located right here on the map, which is going to be the 3rd Church of Marika, in the area just kind of barely southwest of the area that's marked by D after you've beaten the Tibia Mariner. So, quickly going over the setup, we do have the Blood Uchi Katana +9, as well as the Assassin's Crimson Dagger and the Winged Sword insignia. We do have a 7-in-1 Crimson to Cerulean flasks, although realistically we could have gone with just 8 Crimsons. The Lone Wolf Ashes +1, and the Lantern just for better visibility. The reason that we want the Lone Wolf Ashes for this one is because it's a double boss fight, we want to split this up as much as possible. The Lone Wolves are not really the best for this due to the fact that they have, I would say, pretty low health. How to get to the cave, you're actually just going to head directly from that side of Grace, head directly east, past the little evil chihuahuas, and if you see this tree with the chihuahua hanging off of it and the Iron Virgin hanging out right below it, you know you're in the right spot. Just head over here, jump off your horse, and then make your way along across this little stem or branch or root. Be careful of this spot right here just because it's a little bit more difficult to do that vertical little offshoot. And then this right here is actually going to be the cave. So we're going to go ahead and light the lantern, and we'll go ahead and pull out the torch too just to see what it does. Now, this cave is going to require a little bit more specific timing as well as positioning, and I'll get kind of into that later, but I do want to go over one more item that you will need before you get this. This is going to be the Preserving Boluses, which can be found at the Shack of Rotting, just southwest of the Rotten Balcony, located right there on the map. We're going to go ahead and throw those into our quick slot because those are going to be immensely useful in the boss fight and all throughout the cave itself. As you guys can see, this place is pretty wrought with Scarlet Rot. You do want to rest at the bonfire because it will reset the geyser counter, which is going to be these bubbles right here that you guys will see. Those do a lot of damage if they hit you. You also make sure you want to make sure that you do not roll through the Scarlet Rot water itself or poison water you let through the game, because that will make it to where you're continuously building up Scarlet Rot or poison whenever you're on a safe spot such as this. Now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of this safe spot. If you don't feel like waiting, you can actually just go ahead and use the Preserving Bolus to reduce your Scarlet Rot to 0. And we actually die here because we forget to switch our quick slots over to the Crimson Flasks, and instead we turn off our Lantern. So, skipping through the loading screen right here, we spawn back up and basically do the exact same thing. Same as before, you're going to head down here. If you do find a spot that you're able to run, go ahead and use it to jump, trying to close a little bit of distance. And we're not even going to really care about getting too much Scarlet Rot. We're just going to go ahead and go for the item. This is going to be the Dragon Wound Grease, as well as one more Ionian Butterfly for a total of 3 at this point. Heading back out to the main area, we're going to heal up just long enough to get ourselves to the main area and kind of just let ourselves die at this point. We're trying not to use too many of our Crimson Flasks or too many of our Scarlet Boluses. Preserving Boluses, rather. I don't know where Scarlet came from. Scarlet Rot. And we just go ahead and run on this geyser, let ourselves die, and skip another loading screen. This will be the final time they will actually have to spawn up, so I will put a timestamp at the beginning of the video, which, if you're at this point in the video, you already know, showing that this is the spot where we officially start the cave. Going ahead, sticking to the left-hand side, we're going to run all the way through, and because this is our last time, we want to make sure that we go ahead and use one of the Preserving Boluses right here to get rid of the Scarlet Rot. Heading down, you want to be careful in this area because there's going to be this little poison guy down here. Again, he bar casts poison as well as the Scarlet Rot that you have to pay attention to. Waiting for the geyser to blow so that we can go. We're going to go ahead and grab the Serpent Bow. Now, again, all weapons and items that we grab will be showcased here at the end of the cave. Heading down through this path and turning off our lantern for some reason, we're going to encounter one rat right here, as well as, I want to say, 2 more down the way. Oh, and another poison guy. Don't forget about him. The character NPCs, the enemies that you contact, I'll go ahead. You guys will have already seen it. It'll be towards the beginning of the video. A list of how many enemies of each. There will be 2 rats in here. The rats kind of have a staggered attack pattern, if you guys know anything. They're kind of the dogs from Dark Souls of this game. Picking up the fire grease and then heading into this next area, we're going to basically skip this whole room and only take out the 2 poison casters in the end. We will come back to this room later because it does hold one of the best items. Like this cave, I swear it has like some of the best items in the game. Going ahead and going for backstabs on these guys, trying to replenish health. The Crimson Dagger. Can't really get around this guy, so we're just going to go ahead and dispatch him like this. Apologies for the lag, but it wouldn't be a Forgiven Gaming YouTube video without a little bit of lag. Heading down further into the cave, this is going to be where the boss fight is. Again, going over the setup real quick, we have the Blood Uchi Katana, we have the 4 Preserving Bullets left over, we do have the Assassin's Crimson Dagger Winged Sword Insignia, and the 7-in-1 plus the Lone Wolf Ashes. Again, this is going to be to split up the boss's attention. I have found that the Blood Uchi Katana works super well on this character. Switching over to the Serpent Bow, this is going to be more of a just in case, but with this setup, you'll see that we don't really need it. If we get low, we want to like step back and attack. Coming in, the first thing we want to do is summon up those Lone Wolf Ashes, and you want to avoid this attack. I don't know how he didn't impale us with it, but that one inflicts Scarlet Rot immediately if you get hit by it, same as the cave in the Liurnia West section. Doing the Blood Uchi Katana special attack, again, this is the special attack that's found at the Kenneth Height Fortress, or the Height Castle, whatever it's called, does do a significant amount of damage, specifically if it's not guarded by Rot Knight. As you can see, we've already dispatched. Now, that attack right there, rewind the video if you didn't see it. The Queen Rot Knight with the sickle, the one that's still alive right now. It's not an attack, it's a little bit of a buff that he does. And that actually heals him. You can see he's got a little bit of an aura around him right now. He's got like continuous heals on him. So, definitely be a little bit mindful of that, as well as his ranged attacks, obviously. Continue to hit him with these attacks as much as you can, but be careful because it does inflict self-damage, so you want to make sure you avoid as much of that as possible. Words are difficult. And if your health gets low, go for those backstabs. That's why you have your Lone Wolf Ashes. Dispatching the 2 of them, you will have the Gold Scarab. Again, I will read the item description off, but this is the talisman that makes this cave totally worth it, and one of my 3 favorite talisman in the game so far. Once I beat the game, I'll actually go ahead and release a talisman tier list. I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in that, but I will do it. Coming back into this room, you do have a couple of these Queen Rot mushrooms, or Scarlet Rot mushrooms. They're not even really mushrooms, are they? Queen Rot plants or Scarlet Rot plants. You're going to go ahead and I recommend take out the little ones. If he does do the attack from above, like little pillars of light attack, then go ahead and attack him because he's not going to be spraying off. Don't immediately cleanse your Scarlet Rot if he does apply it, because I'm giving this plant a gender. I keep calling it evil. But don't immediately cleanse the Scarlet Rot because there's a very good chance that he'll do it again. Go ahead and take him out. He will give you these standard drops that these giant plants give you, which is going to be the 5 Poison Bloom. I think they're just called Poison Blooms. And then 1 Miranda Powder. Going ahead and picking up the Ionian Butterflies. These are super useful throughout the game, especially if you are using bows, because they can be used to get Scarlet Rot arrows. Like I said, pick this up. And then the last item in the cave that I want to go over is actually going to be right up here. You want to dispatch everything in the room, climb up the Iron Virgins located on the west wall, and then pick up the Venomous Fang. Now, going over the items that we have so far. We have the Golden Scarab, we have the Venomous Fang, and we have the Serpent Bow. And I'm going to go ahead and head down in the middle of the room, read off all these item descriptions for you guys. So, the first one is going to be the Venomous Fang. It does read, one of the weapons designed for gladiatorial combat, used by duelists who were exiled from the Colosseum. The black fang protruding from the bronze snake head is coated in deadly poison. The skill is Quick Step, which is a standard dagger one. It does help you move through difficult to move terrain, such as water. It makes you move a little bit quicker. It does have a descaling in strength and dexterity, causes poison buildup of 72. It only requires 9 strength and dexterity. So basically every character can use this. And that poison buildup of 72 is massive. It's one of the best poison buildups in the game. The next item is the Serpent Bow. It has an E scaling in Strength, D in Dex, and D in Arcane, requiring 8 Strength, 15 Dexterity, and 11 Arcane to use. This one you may have to train up a little bit of stats for. Reading the item description, it says a malformed bow in the shape of a pair of poisonous snakes imbues arrows with poison through pagan magic, revealing its true worth when used with poison-infused arrows. It is used by assassins known as the Formless Serpents. The skill is the Mighty Shot, which is a pretty standard longbow shot, or longbow skill, rather. And finally, the bread and butter of this video, the Gold Scarab. Increases runes obtained from defeated enemies. This is massive. Again, now, going over, it says a talisman, facsimile of a scarab, the carrier of treasures and precious things. This golden scarab increases the amount of runes obtained from defeating enemies. I don't know if I'm pronouncing facsimile. I don't know. Put the word up on screen right now, which you guys are seeing already. Now, this does make it so that whenever you're fighting those flame chariots, which is what I used to grind all the way up to level 100 on both my Artemis character as well as level 90 with this character, it takes you from 1,954 runes to 2,350. So, again, a massive thing. You will want this as well as the Golden Pickled Foulfoot that we found earlier to fight the giant Scarlet Rotted Dragon, which is going to be found over here, just east of the Caelid Ruins. Jump over the gap, get the Dragon Barrel Rot, pick up the map located right about here, and then continue heading southeast to Fort Ferrith. There's a giant dragon here, and I'll go ahead and link, not link, but I'll attach the video at the end of this showing, again, one of the best arts in the game. You're going to want to make sure that you use the Golden Pickled Foulfoot as well as the Gold Scarab Talisman that we just picked up. This will enhance the number of runes that you have significantly. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy. I'm going to go ahead and end it off here, and yeah, I'll tag on that video for you guys. Right here, we're spawning up at the Fort Ferrith Site of Grace, and then we're just heading a little bit to the north. You can see this is the giant dragon that we have right here. You want to make sure that you have a bleed weapon or a poison weapon. I recommend bleed personally because it does a significant amount of damage in a short period of time once you've built up the blood loss. You're going to go ahead and just attack it back here. The wyverns on the ground, or wyverns on the ground, shouldn't really mess with you too much if you stay back here. After a while, it will go ahead and go down. Whenever you see it move, whenever you've defeated it, which I'll go ahead and show in just a couple seconds. A couple more hits here. You'll see it move right there. That's whenever you want to go ahead and eat the Golden Pickled Foulfoot. Make sure you do have the Golden Scarab Talisman on, and you can see we're at about 9,000 runes. We're at 8,955 runes before it dies, and it says plus 78,000. So, quick maths say that we should be at about 87,000, but you can see we've actually blown past that to about 125,000. The reason for that is whenever you kill it, all of those little wyverns or wyverns around it die, so you get the runes for all of those. Stacking the Golden Scarab benefit as well as the Golden Pickled Foulfoot benefit is by far one of the fastest leveling starts that you can get early on in the game. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.